everybody, it's Charmy, and I know it's been such a long time since I've uploaded, but we are back with another art video, and we are going to be reviewing some more ARRTX supplies, and this time they were kind enough to send me these 2 boxes of SIMPTAP markers, so yeah, let's unbox that. So they sent me both their 36 saturated colors and also their 48 saturated colors. And I think that today we're going to start with this box and we are going to be swatching first. So yay! This texture of the box feels really nice. It feels like papery and yeah, I love the colors already. And I like this little rubber band that you can take off. There's another one on the back, and it's just like attached from one side, so your markers don't fall out.
So ARRTX has so many colors jam-packed in here, and it was a little bit overwhelming at first, but I picked one up and I noticed how it looks a lot like a Posca pen or Posca marker because of the like thick cap in the front. And it's great that it has a brush nib instead of just like a hard one or the hard dull one. And it says that it's 1 to 6 millimeters, which is great if you want to like have a lot of range in your line size. And at first, at the end, I thought it was double-sided. It is not, and it's just like where you push down to release more ink. I'm not a fan of it at first, but I will get into that more later in the video. Yeah. So if you are a faithful Charmy watcher, then you would know that in my last video I also received some boxes from ARRTX, and as well as the acrylic markers that they had sent me last time, they also sent me a sketchbook, so that's what I'm going to be swatching in today. So these pens really did remind me of Posca markers, and that is where my mistake was. I was also treating them like Posca markers, and since they don't have that sturdy stub, I did not press down anything. I assume that's what that button at the end was. And yes, I briefly read the instructions. I should have read them a lot more in depth instead of rushing it. But the instructions do state that you have to press down on that button at the end 4 to 5 times. Once did fine for me, except my mistake was that the cap was on. So they actually do state that the cap has to be off. I'm not really sure what the mechanism was, but either way it didn't work with the cap on. And I repeatedly tried it with the cap on, and you will see me later like vigorously shaking the Posca, oh my god, see, that's where I keep making mistakes, where I shook the ARRTX pen, the SIMPTAP, and treated it as if it was a Posca marker. And yeah, that's where my mistake lies. So the main thing that I have observed when I was swatching is that the SIMPTAP markers have a very similar consistency to the ARRTX markers from last time. They're also acrylic paint markers. And I think that it might be pretty much the same exact paint, like consistency-wise. Except that the one difference that I have noticed is with the SIMPTAP markers, it is more watery, more liquidy definitely, especially because it has like a little capsule with the paint inside. I'm not exactly sure how the other markers function, but I don't think they actually have like ink because then you'd have to shake it again. But with that being said, that over time the paint will separate, and so the next day I had used the markers. I waited a day between the swatching and the actual illustration that I made with the markers, and the paint did separate. Unfortunately, some of the markers I wasn't able to get the exact same pigment because it separated and kind of made its own thing, which is totally fine. I made do with it, but yeah, that's just something I've observed. Right here, I showed an up close of me pressing down on that button at the end. And you can see how the ink just ejects out, which is pretty cool. I think that was in the beginning, that's the only time it actually shoots out like that. Later on, it's less noticeable, especially because it's all painted instead of the white and the pigment. but yeah, I don't think that like it shoots out too much. But then later you will see when you first open the pen, sometimes it already has like some accumulated and it will drip. Like I made that mistake twice on this vampire girl's like face. Yeah, you'll see what I mean. Okay, so these like little clear caps at the end have really been like getting on my nerve a little bit. I understand that it's there for you to not like accidentally press down on the marker, which will probably eject some amount of ink. However, most of the times it just gets in the way, especially since the markers are like faced like with the tip upwards. Those little caps are on the bottom and they fall off pretty easily. So when you're putting back your marker, you kind of like have to struggle a little bit, especially if some of the caps had fallen off.
Now that we finished with this guy, we are going to now open and unbox this one. I don't think that there are too many differences in color-wise. Definitely like this one comes with less. And it's mostly primary and secondary colors, and it's definitely more portable if you want to just bring it out with you. And then this one, definitely just like keep it at home or just bring a couple on the go.
Okay, so here you can see me like trying to press out the paint within the cap so I don't spill. It's fine because I end up spilling up later. Oh my gosh. I end up spilling later on the paper and like you see multiple like splatters. It's fine. I just learned to deal with it and I just went over it anyways. Not that big of a deal. Swatches are messy anyways. And so yeah, this is pretty much the exact same colors from the other side, like even writing down the numbers of the colors. It's the same, it's just like a smaller collection of them. It's also cheaper, so if you're not planning on buying a big one. And like I said, it's also easier to carry around if you're on the go. I wasn't too sure of who I wanted to draw or like what I wanted to draw. I know that I was like thinking about drawing something Halloween themed or getting into that spooky season. I ended up drawing a vampire girl and she kind of like looked like Jackie Laura from Monster High, which is fine. I mean, I didn't mean to draw her. I know I didn't like make her accurate to the character if that's who you choose to see. Either way, it's just like some vampire girl. I think that I should have probably used more of the colors. I kind of wanted to keep it like a Halloween spooky fall theme, but I think a better idea would have been to like reach out for more colors, especially if I want to showcase the different colors that come in the ARRRTX SIMPTAP box. I just want to take a second to thank ARRRTX again for reaching out to me. It means so much as a small content creator that I have the opportunity to work with a company like this, especially when it's something in my field. And I just want to say that if you guys are also interested in these markers, please check the description below because there are codes for discounts. And if you're a first-time user for AliExpress, you get 30% off. You guys should go do that. And yeah, overall, ARRRTX has been very kind, very understanding, and they're a great company, and I think you guys should really check them out if you like their markers and other art supplies. Some of the main takeaways about these pens are that they're very liquidy, juicy, if you will, and so that's why I kind of like spill a lot, especially when making fine details. You kind of have to like pay attention to the brush nib and see if there's any excess paint on the tip. Always like have a little paper on the side. I had one also, and like test it out on there. Like I said previously, you did kind of have to like work a bit to make it the same pigment that you want it to, if it had separated before. So that's the main issue that I have. Otherwise, they're very good. Having fine lines is easy to obtain. Having thick lines is easy to obtain. You have a lot of coverage when you're painting. You might have to go over multiple times, which is fine, you know, because then you can like layer and blend if you want to. So here's a good example of my layering with the pumpkins. I'm actually really happy with how the pumpkins came out. I think that the orange colors are somewhat limited, but you are able to layer a lot, and I think I got the result that I wanted. And yeah, so just multiple passes, otherwise you're still going to see the pencil underneath. However, I think that this works like differently depending on the pen. Maybe for this particular moment I didn't shake it up enough. That's probably it. But yeah, overall it was really fun. I think the pumpkins might have been my favorite part. And I'm really happy with the colors I used. I think that I could have done a little bit better on her pants. I think I kind of left it too unfinished. But yeah, layering is really fun with these pens. That's what I have to say. Definitely one of my favorite parts about acrylic markers is adding little highlights, and especially with those white pens or lighter colored pens, it's always so much fun. And especially with her hair, so cute, and on the little stars and the pumpkins as well. So here I am like outlining my pumpkins with like a darker black color, because I wasn't too sure if I wanted to like make it really harsh or not, but I did anyways, and I think it looks cute, especially because it goes with that like orange black Halloween color theme. But like later in the video I do go back in with some of my colored pencils, and I make some outlines as well, and like just little marks. But yeah, I think that the bold outlines really helped bring it together, especially since the colors are so vibrant and so bright, and then it helps it like contain it a bit. Overall, I really enjoyed using ARRTX's new SIMPTAP acrylic markers. It's lots of fun because of all the different colors you get, and also I really enjoyed having the brush nib because I can get all these different sizes, from really thin lines to a lot thicker coverage, and yeah, I just had a lot of fun overall. And I want to thank ARRTX again for sending these to me and letting me share them with you guys. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. One note is that I don't really like the functions of the pen, but I think that just might be me for struggling a little bit. But otherwise, yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I'm really happy with how the spread turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. Bye! Kind of difficult to get